Hello, my name is Teacher Stephanie. I'm a VIPKID teacher and I have been for just under 18 months now. I've been coaching and helping referrals almost the entire time since maybe my third or fourth month when I felt comfortable enough with the job to feel that I could assist others in getting hired. And I do this optionally on the side. It's not a requirement at all, but I started helping a few personal friends and teachers that I knew in the beginning. And since I made all of these videos and all of these resources and documents, I just thought, I may as well continue putting them to use. I do receive a one-time incentive bonus if an applicant is hired. They make it through the entire hiring process and they begin teaching. So they must teach at least their first class. And then I don't see any money after that. It's just one time. So I enjoy doing it for the extra bonuses. I use them, for extra money to pay for vacations and stuff. It's not the basis of my income at all. But I use it for extra dance payments for my daughter, rowing for my son, vacations for my family, just all the little extras. And I enjoy it. So it's just an optional thing that you can do if you'd like to. But teaching is the core of VIPKID. My teaching is what pays my bills. I do this full time. I have nearly this entire time. My husband was unexpectedly laid off right before I had even completed my second month of VIPKID. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going all in, even though I was supposed to be on maternity leave. And I've been doing it full time ever since. It's really great for our family. My husband's a stay-at-home father and has been ever since that time. And I continue to do it and support my family because we have oodles and oodles of family time together because of my job. I'm off usually at 9:30 or 10 a.m. every morning. My husband's already home. He's taking care of the kids. They've usually eaten breakfast and we're good to go. We live in Florida, so we can head to the beach for the day. We can head to the theme parks for the day. We can do whatever we want. We can go to my children's 101 extracurricular activities they're signed up for. I also homeschool my children. So it's given us a lot of family time and a lot of fun bonding time because of this job. So I'm really thankful for it and I absolutely love it. And I love helping others get hired. My referral code and all that jazz is below if you would like my assistance. I help my referrals from the start to the end. Beyond, once you're hired, I have referrals I still talk to from over a year ago that I helped right after I got hired. I've got a Facebook group dedicated to them. And lots of resources that I've made over all this time. So anyway, this video is supposed to be super short. I always ramble a lot, so watch it and fast forward if you can. This is just going to go over a couple of questions that I hear a lot and reasons VIPKID may be or may not be a good fit for you. So number one is a flexible schedule. Are you looking for a flexible schedule? Does that mean that your schedule has to be flexible? No, it does not. I work pretty much the same schedule every week, but it does mean you can take off time whenever you need to. My daughter just competed at Panama City Beach in dance nationals and her team won one of the big grand national championships. So it's super exciting. But I took off that week. I took off time to be able to travel with my family and I didn't tell anyone. I didn't put in a request. I didn't have to get permission. I just didn't open up my time slot to teach and I didn't teach that week. So it's great to be able to take off time whenever you want. You can also take off whichever days you want every week. If I want, a Thursday, Friday off, because we like to go to the theme parks when no one else is there, while everyone else is at school and work, then you can do that. Flexible schedule also means, are you looking for part-time or full-time? Most VIPKID teachers use VIPKID income as part-time income. Stay-at-home mothers love it. It's great. You can work a few hours before your kids wake up. You can work 30 minutes before your kids wake up. You teach one class. That's it. There's no minimum. There's no maximum per week. So you can teach 1 hour a week. You can teach 10 hours a week. You can teach 40 hours a week. You can teach 70 hours a week if you choose to. You do not have to commit to a certain number of hours each month. You do not have to choose full-time or part-time. You can change it at any time. Anytime, I would like to work more or less, I can. So are you looking for a flexible schedule that you can set yourself? That being said, the hours available are not quite standard. Are you a night owl? Are you an early bird? I personally prefer early mornings. I am not a 4:30 or 5 a.m. natural waker, but I do normally wake up around 6:30 on my own, even on my days off. So waking up at 4:30 or 5 to get started teaching is not very hard on me at all. It's pretty easy. The other option is, are you a night owl? The available hours to teach are 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Beijing Standard Time, BJT. So you need to convert your own time to find out what your available hours are. I'm EST. Mine's really easy. It's 12 hours difference. So my available hours are 9 p.m. to 10 a.m. Lots of teachers in the EST, especially during the summer when all the kids are off school, like to work those evening hours. You can work from 9 to 12. Once you've got those regular students reeled in, you can continue doing that during the school year too. A lot of them take lessons before their classes or in the middle of their classes on their lunch break. Training students usually have a lengthy lunch break in the middle of the day. So you can continue working those evening hours into the school year as well once you've established those students. Before you've established them, it can be a little hit or miss in the evenings for a bit. But just keep opening those slots. See what happens. Kids will fill in. If they like you, they'll keep booking you. Just, do your best job every single time. And you can work evenings. So if you're a night owl and you like those hours, you can do that. If you're an early bird like me, then you can do it in the mornings before your kids even wake up. I usually work 4:30 to 9:30, sometimes 5 to 10. It just depends on my schedule that week and what activities my children have, what obligations I have. But that's my standard schedule. The other option is only working weekends. Some teachers only choose to work weekends, maybe because it's their side hustle, maybe because they only want to work weekends. I've seen teachers who power through like 24 classes. They go, 12 hours on Friday nights or on Saturday nights. And if you can handle that, then kudos to you. I usually only do 9, 10, maybe 11 or 12 classes. That's, 6 hours is 12 classes. That's a long time to sit here, on my computer. Sometimes you get a no-show, which is paid for and kind of awesome. Sometimes you don't. So I don't count on those. I usually work 10 classes a day, which is only 5 hours. It's not a long time to stay here. And I'm usually off by the time my kids, they've been up for a little while, but they're not super active yet. So I like to be off when they are. But anyway, those are the hours. So check out your time zone, convert it, find out what your hours are, and see, if you think you can handle those hours personally. Because number 3 is commitment to students. Commitment, there it is. This is a job. Some people don't realize this is a job. They're looking for, something even easier than this. This is like the easiest job I've ever had. I was a public school teacher prior to this, and I had oodles of jobs before I completed college. This is the easiest job I've ever had. I loved it. It's the most enjoyable. When I'm off work, I'm off, which is fantastic because I worked unpaid. So much as a public school teacher, so I don't want to go back to that. It's super easy, but that doesn't mean that it's not a job. In my classroom, I couldn't not go to school because if I didn't show up, who was there to watch my kids? Who was there to watch my students? The teacher next door might grab them, maybe. I don't know. I never, didn't show up. But you need to be there. Your class is waiting for you. This is the same thing. Yes, these students are at home. Yes, their parents are there, unless it's an older student usually. Yes, they have someone watching them. But the parent paid money for this 25 minutes of one-on-one time with this English class, and they take their education very seriously. You need to be able to show up to your classes. You need to be able to cancel ahead of time if something comes up, an emergency, a sickness, and your child breaks their arm. VIPKID understands emergencies. They have cancellation policy in place. You're allotted 6 cancellations per contract with no reasoning whatsoever. You don't even have to tell them why. It's nice, you should, but you're allotted those. Beyond that, soft cancellations if you have proper paperwork, from hospitals, doctors, like death certificates, things like that. Anything, really a real emergency, those don't count against your contract at all, and those are allotted. Medium cancellations are similar for like sickness, flu, things like that, things you really can't teach through. But, sniffles, I teach through sniffles. A little cough, I turn off my microphone. I teach with a little bit of cough. Some of my videos on here, I was making for my referrals with a cough. So you'll hear me, sorry, and apologize. But, you've got to be able to show up. These are students. These parents have paid money. If you don't show up to work, it doesn't reflect well on the company. It doesn't reflect well on you, and you're probably not going to be a very successful teacher. So even though this is a side hustle for some, even though this is at-home work, it does require a level of commitment if you want to be successful. So make sure you can be committed to your students. And that doesn't just mean showing up. That means doing a good job when you show up. Don't show up half asleep and groggy. Don't show up, trying to get that coffee down still because you haven't woke up. Wake up, get, perky and, throw on some makeup if you want to, drink a glass of water if you want to, whatever, orange juice, whatever gets you going in the mornings. I drink orange juice usually. I can't have coffee. I'm breastfeeding still. So I started this job because I wanted to stay home to nurse my youngest. It was really hard to go back when I was nursing my third as a teacher, but 18 months later, here we are still nursing. But it's been so easy. But yeah, do whatever you need to do to be there for your students and to be 100% invested in that class while you're there. And number 4, really, really boring stuff, computer requirements. Do you have a computer? You might be watching this on your phone, maybe not. You need a computer. It can be a laptop or it can be a desktop. Do you have a webcam? It can be internal or external. So if you have a built-in webcam in your laptop, that's perfectly fine. I have a built-in one in my laptop, but my laptop's from like 2015, so it's not the clearest. So I have a Logitech webcam. It's not even the clearest. It's not very new. It's probably older than my laptop, actually. But my husband builds computers, and he found this for like $3 at a thrift store one day. So I've been using it ever since. I've had zero issues. So I usually like to stick with what works. So that's what I've got. A headset is not required, depending on your situation. If you live alone or if you're only going to be teaching while your children are asleep, by all means, use your internal audio if you'd like to, your internal microphone for your computer. I did for my first 2 months of teaching, went through the hiring process and worked for 2 months without it. I decided I needed to work later mornings and hours after my children would be awake. So I invested in this because it has a mute button, which is great. I can mute it. I can mute it sometimes if I need something, can you bring me this, honey? Or sometimes if I need a cough, or if my kids, every once in a while, they're pretty quiet. They're really good. Every once in a while, if my daughter happens to wake up crying or something, just put it on mute for a minute or two so my students don't hear it. Well, my husband gets it under control ASAP because I do not like, an unprofessional classroom. I do not like my students to know that my family is going on, in this house. They're usually not aware at all that I have, they know I have a family because I show them, but I show them pictures and stuff, but they don't know, there could be chaos like upstairs. They have no idea anything's going on. And on that same note, it has noise reduction technology. So it, automatically quiets the background noise. So it picks up, sounds that are close to it. It picks up me talking, but it doesn't pick up everything that's going on in the other bedrooms or upstairs or wherever else my kids may be running around, or my dog may be barking occasionally. So it's really great about that. In the VIPKID classroom, you can usually see the audio go up and down. So if there's background noise, if it's being heard or not. It's really awesome because this thing, unless they're right next to me, and they never are, you don't hear any background noise. It's really fantastic. So anyway, those are just, some things you might want to consider before you get this job. It's, like I said, the easiest job I've ever had. It's the most fun job I've ever had. The students are immensely dedicated to learning English. They are super excited about class almost all of the time. Occasionally they're not because they are working hard and they've got a lot of classes, a lot of extracurriculars. But I can usually, warm them up and bring out that joy and excitement anyway, because I want this to be fun for them. I don't want it to just be another class that they take. I want it to be enjoyable, and most of them love learning. I absolutely love it, and they love sharing their lives with you. The little ones, when they're first learning, they want to learn English so badly so they can tell you all about their lives and show you the toys and tell you what they are, or tell you about their soccer game or their kindergarten graduation. I've got one graduating kindergarten this week. They're so adorable. So it's really awesome. It's a wonderful, wonderful job. But, there are some differences between this and a standard job in the U.S. So you do need to consider those. The requirements from VIPKID are extremely simple. These are just like things you might want to consider. The requirements are steady internet and computer with a webcam, so you can actually physically do the classes. Sorry, I'm just washing my whiteboard. It's habit to do it right after I use it. Native accent. That doesn't mean you have to sound exactly the same. I have people, tell me they're from a different state and I've kind of got a little bit of a Boston accent, or I've kind of got a little bit of a Texas accent. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's not really, really apparent and you don't sound like you're speaking English, your accent, if it's very light, is fine. Just make sure, that you sound, like you're speaking English. So native accent, all the computer requirements I went over. Steady internet is much more important than fast internet. Your internet doesn't need to be extremely fast. I'm using a mobile hotspot. So I'm using 4G. I'm not even using, DSL or anything like that, or broadband. So steady internet is the most important part. And you need a bachelor's degree in any field. It does not have to be an education in any field. And you need at least 1 year or more formal teaching experience in a classroom or informal teaching experience. It could be coaching, homeschooling, tutoring, substitute teaching, camp counseling, Sunday school, tons and tons and tons of different informal experience you can use on your application for your teaching experience. So as long as it's with kids ages 5 through 12, that's the average age range for students, then it's perfectly fine. All right, so I'm gonna go and cut it off. There's probably a lot more I could say. I tend to ramble, but we're almost at 15 minutes, and I meant for this to literally be like 5 minutes or so. So those are some things you can think about if you're considering VIPKID. If you would like help through the process, unfortunately, a lot of applicants fail without assistance. Not everyone does. I didn't have a coach or a mentor when I went through the process, and I passed my mock 1. Actually, I didn't even take mock 2. So you can do it. You can do it on your own. But if you would like access to all of those resources, if you would like access to walkthrough videos, if you would like, personal one-on-one assistance, I help everyone usually through Facebook Messenger, but also through email, nearly 24 hours a day, it seems. Whenever someone needs something, sometimes you need something like right now. It's an emergency. I'm about to go into my mock and something's not working. What can you tell me? Tech help. Things like that. Then use my referral code down below when you apply. If you've already applied, there's also instructions on how to email and get me added if you've already started the process. All right, I'm over 15 minutes now. I've got to go. Thank you so much for watching and good luck. Goodbye.